I have a theory. The theory is that Ocasio-Cortez just says whatever comes to her mind and then refuses to back down and admit when she's wrong, thus turning her nonsense into an official policy position. She often, as well as the other far-left Democrats, will say things that offer up no solution and mean nothing, and they'll make it a policy position. So Ocasio-Cortez tweets out nonsense about camps on the southern borders. What happens? All of her tribalist buddies rush to her defense, and congratulations, she's now launching a rallying cry around something that makes no sense and is not true. And they're oh my God. They're obstructing the funding for the border because she said a nonsense tweet and has to stand behind it. But I'm not going to get into all that border stuff necessarily. There's a little bit I want to talk about in terms of her silly tweets and talk about her policy positions. I've got another segment coming up after this to go more in depth on their current obstruction of actual progress, which, man, I was so happy the other day when I was saying, like, hey, it's really great the Democrats are finally getting on board and they're going to come together in a bipartisan effort to fund border security. And then the far left, Ocasio-Cortez and Rashida and Elon come out with their nonsense tweets and have to push policy based on their nonsense because they refuse to admit they're talking nonsense. Look at the tweet on the screen. Here's Ocasio-Cortez, and I'm going to go through some of these responses on this thread. She said, "This was Philadelphia after an oil refinery exploded this morning." Okay, so what's that about how climate change isn't an existential crisis that will disproportionately impact working class people and burn its way up? We need a solution on the scale of this crisis. One moment, please. Excuse me. What? What are you talking about? Oh my God. This tweet is an absolute, it means literally nothing. Is she actually implying a refinery exploded because of climate change? Okay. First, she tweeted about tornado warnings going off in DC, saying, I guess we're at casual tornadoes now. Oh my God, climate change. Wow. Oh my God. If this is what she's basing her policy positions on, help us all, please. Because when she said that global warming is making casual tornadoes, I thought to myself, wow, if she thinks that's true, then she must believe a ton of other psychotic nonsense. And if she's pushing these bills, we probably want to walk back. I'll tell you what, a meteorologist on Twitter was like, no, stop, please, Cortez. There are tornadoes, like he said, this is just the weather. Tornadoes sometimes happen. Weather is not climate. And I'd like to add something. Ocasio-Cortez freaked out because tornado warnings were going off in DC. Do you know why tornado warnings were going off in DC? Because DC has tornado warnings. Because sometimes tornadoes happen. Okay? Now, I'll tell you what would be strange. If a place that never had tornadoes all of a sudden had to install tornado warnings because a new thing was happening. Let me just reiterate. DC has tornado alarms, warnings, because they sometimes have tornadoes. No, it's not climate change or global warming and casual tornadoes, but this is what she tweets. And she refuses to admit she's wrong, and then that's her policy. So what's the policy now? She's going to go around marching around saying, we can't have these refineries exploding anymore. It's time to fight climate change. And we're going to be like, what do you, I don't know where you're going with this, dude. So she tweets things that often just go nowhere, and she offers up no solutions. How about this? The president needs to be impeached. Okay. Why? I mean that literally, like, oh, I'm listening. You have my attention. Your tweet has gotten 120,000 retweets by the time of filming this video. Can you tell me why he needs to be impeached? They can't. But she can certainly tell me that climate change made a refinery blow up. Now we're going to go through all of the controversial Twitter responses. Mike Cernovich responded to Cortez saying, "Are you high right now?" And then someone posted the meme of the little critter thing doing like the what? Like, what is this? What is she talking about? Listen, she gets by sometimes when she tweets things because you can kind of understand what she's trying to say. Sometimes she tweets things that just this president needs to be impeached. Okay, dude, you've got to go somewhere with that. Remember when, I always bring this up, she said that the $21 trillion accounting error could fund healthcare? She bases her policy positions on this. The point I was trying to make in the beginning, is that when she tweets something nonsensical like this, and then people call her out, she doubles down and goes, nuh-uh, nuh-uh, like her concentration camp thing. So we have this Twitter account. Quoth the Raven. What the F are you talking about? Talk about a non sequitur. This was an accident at a refinery. Has nothing to do with climate change. Excuse me. You use hydrocarbon-based products and fuels every single day, AOC. I support alternative and green energy, but I also support common sense. And as someone who loves Philadelphia almost as much as I love life itself, my only concern is that none of my brothers and sisters from my fine city were hurt. Prayers up to everyone in the area and the employees. There's always going to be accidents. At the chemical plants that make products you use daily, at nuclear power plants, at solar farms and wind power plants, on airlines, in electrical cars, at vegan restaurants. You're just using an accident to further a political agenda. No matter how far left you drag the politics of this country, we will still require production of goods and services, and as long as we are human, there will always be accidents. Next time you want to be appalled, check out the supply chain for the products used to make the iPhone you tweeted this from. Or try to go one day without using plastics. Or see who makes and manufactures the clothes and shoes you wear daily. EOM. I don't know what that means. Climate change caused the explosion. What we can see here is that Ocasio-Cortez doesn't understand the difference between using fossil fuels for making petroleum-based products and petrochemicals and burning fossil fuels for energy. She seems to think that there is a direct correlation that like climate change caused the refinery. Okay, let's back it up a little bit. Let me say this. Perhaps she's taking the long circuitous path towards refineries shouldn't exist. That's the point I wanted to make. If she's claiming that refineries exploding are akin to the climate change problem itself, is she arguing that refineries shouldn't exist? If that's the case, she has now stepped up her rhetoric from going, at one point it was like, hey, we shouldn't have planes and farting cows. We can't get every car off the road. But now she's going beyond that. Because apparently she doesn't understand that petroleum is used for more than just burning for fuel. It's used for plastics, petrochemicals. Like, there's like, she's going to legislate. She's going to pass sweeping Green New Deal legislation. And then if this stuff actually passed, which it never will because she went off the rails with this stuff, it will result in people not having shoes. It will result in no more bottles. Like, okay, look, plastics can be bad for the world. We want to get rid of pollution. But what Cortez does is insane. So, but let's talk about how it turns into her policy positions from the Daily Wire. Ocasio-Cortez refuses to apologize for her concentration camp remarks and spreads new lie. Here's what happens. She says something that makes no sense. She gets called out for it. She doubles down and goes even further with it because she's always right. This is a dangerous mentality to have. The Daily Wire writes that Cortez refused to apologize on Friday for engaging in the trivialization of World War II era German actions. When she falsely claimed the U.S. government was operating concentration camps on the southern border, Ocasio-Cortez then spread a new lie, that it was the Republicans who were intentionally conflating terms in order to attack her, despite the fact that she made clear what she meant during her Instagram Live video when she said never again. We get it. She's a liar, she doubles down, and then it becomes like an official position for her. Then she proposes legislation. Ocasio-Cortez, I don't want to rehash all that stuff we talked about in the past several days because I've got another segment coming up where I want to talk about ICE is planning on deporting, it's like millions of people are on the deportation list. And what we can see beyond this, okay? I didn't want to do this in one super long video because it was like just enough that it had to be done for another video. So the next video I'm going to do is going to talk about how Ocasio-Cortez goes from saying something that makes no sense, refusing to back down when she's called out for it, to then proposing something in legislation or obstructing legislation and offering up no solution. When you have someone as dangerously idiotic as her, who says something like there are concentration camps on the border, then people say you're wrong, she refuses to back down, then she says, but we should do this. And you ask her why. The proposal she's offering right now is she's asking for compassion. I kid you not. She's literally saying, defund the camps and offer compassion. I ask you, what the hell does that even mean? We had a chance now for Democrats and Republicans to come together and they want to. And Ocasio-Cortez and the other far left are saying no. So here's what I'll do. I'll end this now because it's going to be 2 shorter segments. I don't want to make one super long thing. The next video coming up is going to be about how they're trying to obstruct actual border policy because they don't want to be wrong, I guess. So stick around. That video will be coming up in a few moments, and I will see you shortly.